I am hoping my sound is working today. That was quite the challenge last week, so I apologize. But let's get started with just some movement. So what I'm going to do is just do the first 17 from the Tai Chi set, just as we wait for everybody to come on board and being able to do that. And then you're just pushing through the feet, letting the feet support you, falling into the feet, and then push back with them. We have left grass bird's tail, and then grass bird's tail. This comes around past that left hip, whip to one side, step up to raise hands, lift, sink, lift, and let that come through. White stork spreads his wings. This goes up to the top, all the way around, brush knee. Strum the pepa, and then brush knee left, twist step, brush knee right, twist step, brush knee left, strum the pepa, brush knee left, twist step, hold the flowers, deflect, parry, and punch. Wiping the sleeve, two hands, and then let that go. Sink, and then that's going to cross over. Give a nice lift, and then let that drop. Okay, lovely. All right, so that gets us started. Welcome to anybody who is joining in now. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to slide back a little bit more. So my hand actually will be in there, I hope. Need to go that way. All right, I'm going to just turn my chair a little bit. Let's do the set again. Thinking about really massaging into the feet, pushing down in your feet, push back, and then fall forward, and then push back. You can feel right in your lower back as it releases. Push, release, push, release. That little piece is going to be very supportive of you because much of the immune system cannot function if your lower back is too tight. So if you've been sitting at a desk a lot, you've been driving in a car, you've been sitting back on the tailbone, and you have not given it space for everything to function correctly, you're going to notice that because your body's not going to be as resilient as you want it to be. All right, so now that you're sitting up on your chair, sit bones connected into the chair, not leaning back, nice and tall, lift it up through the top of the head. So everything is lifted. We have our commencement. Push into the feet. You can feel your tailbone, feel your lower back. And then as you push into your feet again, fingertips are going to turn in towards each other. And then there's going to be a fall that goes forward. Hold the ball. So you pushed into your feet to come back. Left grass bird's tail, falling into the feet. Push. You can probably feel that lower back now that I brought awareness to it. Fingertips into the wrist. Hand comes back. Bow and arrow back. Palm to palm. Push into the feet. That comes back. Two hands are going to go forward. Push into the feet. This lifts you up. So you have a lift, a sink, a lift. I'm doing a pier to close the entrance. Sorry, I was so excited about lifting up and coming back down. That's just too funny. Okay, I apologize for that. All right, I see there might be a comment in there. I'm not sure if there's a comment there. It says there's something there, but there isn't actually. Okay, my apologies. That's too funny. Okay, let's try that again. Commencement. Let that go. Fingertips are going to turn in. Now there's a lift in the body and then a fall into the floor. Push into your feet, brings you back. Falling in to the floor. Left grasp bird's tail, push into your feet. Comes back. Grasp bird's tail. Bow and arrow back. 2 hands. Open. 2 hands. Okay. This is going to come around. This time we're going to go past the left hip, over to the right. Make that cone and reach out. Step up. Sorry, right hand is going to be on the top. I was thinking about the spine again. Lift and drop. Push into the feet. Expand. So you've got to lift through the body, sink. Spiral. Brush knee left. Push into the feet. And then that left arm's going to come up, strum the pepa. Open the hands, and you've got brush knee left. Twist step. Brush knee right. Twist step. Brush knee left. Push into the feet, strum the pepa. Open the hands, brush knee left. Twist step and hold the flowers, so it's coming up, in, out, wipe your sleeve, let that come through, let it come back, expand. Up to the top, sink. And there we are. Okay, so I'm hoping now we have everybody on who is going to be joining today. And just to bring you into the theme of today, we are talking about stress and the immune system. So how, when you are stressed or you play into those stressful thoughts, it will depress the immune system. And so what we want to do is find peace and relaxation, deep breathing, and we want to engage lower dantian with an expansion and a contraction. And every time we do that, we are expanding and opening all of the systems in the body so that they can function better. And we're building energy that you can store to support you when you need it. So if you're feeling stressed, that is not the time to do nothing. It is the time to move. As soon as you move, you change the way that your body is able to react, and you change the link between brain and body in that process. So let's do, we did twice, 2.5 times, we did through the set. But let's do spine rotation. And I'm going to do this because you need to be manipulating all the micro muscles and tissue that connect into your spine all the way down. You need to be connecting into that and making those micro movements to wake everything up. If everything you do is always straightforward, you drive the car, you do the dishes, you read a book, you work on the computer, everything is straight, and you don't turn and create that spiral action, you are not feeding the systems so that they can support the body. All right, so we can do it a couple ways. I'm going to use a way that I use from Chi Integration, which is a program that I teach. Your ankles are going to go underneath your knees. And we're going to take our arms and we're going to pretend we're holding on to a balloon. And that balloon has a knot at the bottom of it. And that little knot is going to go from center till it points over top of one knee, back to center, until it goes over top of the other knee. That's it. It's not very big movement. So taking your hands, just pull them together as we've done in previous weeks. You can often feel the energy between your hands, and it changes with your activities in Tai Chi. So as your energy starts to build, sometimes your arms, your hands don't want to go so close together. They actually feel the field between, the space between there. They can feel the energy building within. So you're just going to find right now where your hands kind of feel like when you push, it almost has like a tiny little bit of resistance in there. It's not very much, just a tiny little bit, because obviously you could close your hands if you wanted to. Okay, so we have that spot. Now what I want you to do is just bring your arms forward so you can feel your shoulder blades. Just give a little tug. Your head is going to go up. So now you can feel the length of your neck across the shoulders, and then that suspension that happens within the arms. Now push into your right foot, and you're going to end up moving to the left. So that ball or balloon, the little knot at the bottom, is over top of your knee or in front of your knee. Push into your left foot, and that's going to send you over to the right. So we have from the right to the left, from the left to the right. Now, if you are sitting up straight and you have your neck lifted and you continue to look forward towards me, then what you're going to notice is these tiny little micro movements moving through the spine. And this is the significant piece of energizing the system and making sure that you are supporting yourself so all systems can function well for you. And if you are stressing about life situations, about going outside, contacting any germs, okay, if you have any of those kinds of thoughts in mind, what you are going to be doing is releasing that so that the body does what it knows best, how to return to balance, how to be where you need to be healthy. And that's what we're engaging. Okay, so that's a tiny little bit of micro movement. Now what we're going to do is take the Tai Chi movement, which is a slightly different version of that. So the hand is out to the side. You can see the 90-degree angle with my arm. The palm is towards my ear. The other hand is going to be doing this. And it's going to do that because I am actually going to spiral. So if you push into your right foot, you will spiral to the left. Changing hands, you're going to spiral back. So push into your right foot, spiral over. Push into your left foot, spiraling back. Now, I'm bringing awareness to your foot and I'm saying push into your foot. But what I really mean is bring awareness to your foot so you can link from your head to your toe. It doesn't mean strain the muscles, just bring awareness. So now we have this beautiful action of turning happening, and we're only going as if our heart center is over that knee, same as the balloon was when we used the other action. That's it. So you don't have to turn all the way around to look behind you. You're just trying to get that micro movement. Now, you brought awareness to the foot, but the real rotation is happening in that lower dantian, below the belly. Sorry, below the belly button. In the belly. Coming across. Can see words are going to be my challenge today. All right. So we're coming across. So this little piece here is fantastic if you are waiting for something, maybe the kettle to boil. Maybe you're in a phone call and you can put it on speakerphone. Maybe you're sitting on a Zoom call And while you're sitting there, you can be energizing. You don't need to be completely focused into the apparatus that's doing the communication. You just need to be engaged. So there's our action. All right. So all we have worried about is just getting that spine to move. So critically important. Those two little exercises are beautiful little pieces. As well, you have the opening of Tai Chi, which we did today. And in the last few weeks, we've also done the opening of low cup. Same action. So let's do that now. Let's do a seated version of the low cup. And you can just keep an eye on what I'm doing. I'm just going to turn my chair. All right. So the palm for this one is palm up. Hands go up and out. Sink back down. Now we don't fall into our feet with this one. This one, what we do is we end up going up and down. So it's up through the top of the head. Push into the left foot to bring awareness. There's our spine rotation. You'll notice it's not very big here, but there's a lot going on in the arms. Turn your right palm around and scoop it up, lifting you up nice and tall. We're going to turn towards the right. The right palm is going to extend out. You can feel your shoulder blade. Sink, so you can feel that lower back. This is going to come back, floating back. And then the right hand is going to go up to the top, link right out the top of the head. Let that go. Oops, sorry. Wipe the sleeve. So there's that little micro turn. And now this is going to go towards the brow. Wipe, so you can feel that spiral action. It's the same action we were using before. Push down. Hold the ball. It's coming around. This is going to go to the brow. Wipe. This is going to go down. Now what you're going to do is take your right hand and wipe it across the left palm and expand the hands out. That's got a lift in it. Sink. Up, out through the top of the head, lifting. Open the hands, sink. Lifting up through the top of the head, expand. Now this would turn around if you were doing this stepping, and then it would go up, sink, and this goes up and through the foot. So you're going to see me lift the heels up off the floor, sink. You may notice some cramping in your calf muscle. We're going to turn around, turn the palms up. This would be extend, sink, extend. And now we're just going to go up and over the top and turn the palms up to the ceiling, open everything up, and that's going to drop. Okay, we'll just stop there. That takes us a little bit further than we've actually gone before. All right, so I have the pants with the fleece inside. They feel lovely, but everything is sliding. So the top just kind of seems to be going like this as it's rubbing back and forth on these pants today. Okay, so you could probably feel within that low cup set how much back and forth is happening. And I've talked about before that low cup, particularly part one of low cup, is about the relationship of your tendons to your muscles. That is your emotional status to the function of your body. So if you are stressed out, those tendons will hold really tight. You'll feel stiff. You may have pains in different parts of your body because it can't function correctly. And you may notice like the tension headache, the tight jaw, clenched hips, tight lower back, all of those things indicating you are stressed. So what you'll notice when we do this part is that massaging back and forth lets that go, but it also creates a wave for the water and the fluid within the body to do all that it needs to do to clean out the systems. Okay, so let's do it again now that you're thinking about how valuable it is. The palms are going to come up, so go right out through the top of the head. And there's a nice extension and then a sink. Out through the top of the head. So now what we're going to do is turn the fingertips and then expand. And this has a little bit of a rotation. So it gets the spine open. The palms face out towards the walls. Turn the hand right down to the bottom. And then that's going to turn sink. This is going to come back up with a nice lift out through the top of the head. Turn and expand over to the right. Sink. So there's that little bit for the lower back. With a rotation, sink. Right hand goes up, left hand goes down. Now you've got to lift right through the body. Let that go. And as it comes down, there's a wipe that comes across with that left hand. There's a spiral and a spiral back. Spiral and spiral back. Here goes your hand down. Hold the ball. Now take your hand, spiral back, spiral, and then let that go down. So now you have spiral back, but you're going to extend the arms. One palm up, one palm down, sink. Lifting up, out through the top of the head, opening the hands, and then sink. This is going to come up, sink, expand out through the chest. This is going to float back, palms go up. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to link into the next part, which is rise up through those toes. You may notice that the tension has disappeared in the feet from the first time. This comes around, which is holding the flowers horizontal, sinks, extends, and now the palms turn, so there's an opening all the way through those shoulder blades, sink. And I know that's where we stopped last time. I'm just going to put the last little piece on because it has a spiral. You're going to turn to your left. Right hand goes forward, left hand goes to the side. Okay. That whole flowing action should now have your body really open and engaged. I left it seated because I notice the pieces easily when I'm seated. The lower back, the spiral action, the lift in the top of the head, the sink, and then that little reaction in the lower back. So that's why I did it that way. But let's look at it from a standing viewpoint. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move this a little bit. Hello, whomever is watching. Thank you for being here. All right. So let's do the low cup here. So I'm just going to turn. Hopefully this is giving you a good view. Okay, so you have palm up. So now I'm going to connect you into lower dantian and to the feet. Okay, so this comes up, out through the top of the head. You'll feel the tailbone sink and then relax as that comes down. Okay, now push into the feet as the hands spiral and come out. Push into that left foot, and there's a whole connection right down to the feet. Sink, drop, feel the back open, lift. This is going to come around, extend, sink. This is going to come back. So you actually are going to spiral your right leg in, sink. Planting the foot. This has a spiral that goes up, and then this has a spiral that comes back through. You're going to step to your corner with the left foot. This goes to your brow. Sink. Comes back down to your knee. Sink. hold the ball. Nice big circle. You can feel your shoulders expand. Step with your right foot to the corner. Out. Bow and arrow comes back. Palm to palm goes, whoop, whoop. Hand goes to your knee, sorry. Comes back. You can see how things match up. Okay, so this is going to open, expand, turn your right toe towards your front, step your feet together, sink. Sorry, it would be towards your left. There's a sink there. So that's a letting go of everything. Then it goes right out the top of the head with a lift up. Open and sink. Now this is going to come out from the heart center, palm towards palm, expand, and there's a sink that happens in the body. Rotate to your right, sink back, touch the right foot to the floor, sink back. So you can see how it keeps rising and falling. Now you're going to go heel, toe, toe, heel, heel, toe, two hands. That's going to sink back. Turn and roll the fingers. There's a rise, there's a sink. Step with the left foot, reach out. Step with the right foot, step with the left foot. They're going to go up and over, and we're going to turn the palms to the ceiling, and we make a nice plank action. Down into the right foot, and then spiral towards the left. And we'll just let that come back in. I just absolutely adore the movements in low cup. Okay, we had lift down, we had spiral this way, and then we had how you were sinking down into your foot. There we go, down into your foot, and then that push. And right there, if you put your hands, just put your hands, not so much on the lower back into the tailbone, put it more onto your butt. And what I want you to feel is when you sink back into your right, see what your hip feels like. Now, if you stick your hip out, your hip will go over, but you won't feel the muscle. But if you sink back and you sit back, drop your tailbone to the floor, you can feel how the muscle goes like this underneath your hands. So your hands are here. Let's maybe come closer. I'm not sure if you can see it. So if my hands are here and you watch where they are sitting in my lower back and I sink down, my hands actually drop down to the floor. And I can feel that tailbone going to the floor. And it's not because I curved it. It just drops that way. So if you take your hip out, you'll feel the muscle move, but you won't feel it drop. Okay? So from that position, sinking back, drop, feel it open, then push out of that foot. And as you come around, you'll feel how the hip over here, the glute on that side, is actually going to engage for you to be able to hold that position. And then just as you push into your foot to come back, you can feel it let go. And if the lower back is able to let go, you'll feel just that little sink again into that action. So there's a lot happening within the pelvis and within that lower back. And again, as I was talking about, that is how you reduce the stress in your body and boost the immune system, because all of the systems can function better. Okay, so let's just play with that little bit of an action. So let's do it from, just trying to decide which way is the best way to face. I know I started this way. Okay, so let's do where your hands came back so you could feel that little bit of sink down and just feel that lower back letting go. And then we're going to walk through the foot. So if you push into the foot, the hands rise up, step, sink, and then step, and this is a two-hand push. So you're going to feel that glute on your right, engage. Now as you sink back, that's where you can feel the drop. Then you're going to turn this whole right side in. The palms turn up and you're going to sink. There's that feeling you're looking for. Step. And now here's the second part you were feeling for. Fall into it. And now your arms are going to push you out, which gives you an extension. Step, step, lift. And now right here, you're going to lift your head up as high as you can, but focus on turning those arms. Sink. All your weight was in the left. Now all the weight is in the right. Spiral, sink. And you're going to wind back down. Okay. All right. So that gives you a few ways to play with that. I'm going to give you the foot action. So you've walked through the feet. You've turned around. You rotated your hands. So the hands went out, they came back. As you were turning, they rolled. Now, you've heard me say how when your palms are one way, what happens to the hip? And when your palm turns up, what happens to the hip? So I'm going to exaggerate the movement a little bit so you can see where it is, but I want you to just notice what the movement is. So if I go like this, you can see where my hip is. But if I go like this, you can see how it adjusts. Now, you'll say, I bent my knees, which I did do because I needed to make it big enough for you to see. But inside the pelvis here, when you change the palm, you change how this whole hip joint is going to function. So what we're doing here, going up, is one kind of hip. On that rise, walking through the ball of our foot, sink. Palm is still up. So we're in that action, but we've asked it to relax, which is very interesting, because then what we do is we push those palms forward, but then just before we come back, look what happens to my hands. And then I'm going to sink my elbow. Okay, so what we're doing is inside, we're adjusting these little micro movements. And for anybody who grips tight, or maybe you've been sitting, maybe you sit cross-legged and you keep creating that tension, we're just letting that whole hip go. Lower back responds by letting go, and we boost the immune system. Okay, so let's play. Let's put those pieces together. So let's come from back here. So you have the sink. You're going to walk up through the ball of the foot. Step, sink. Step with the right foot and push out. And now what we're going to do is sink back. So you can see there goes the change of my hands. As I come around, I'm going to rotate my hand. So I've changed the pelvis. Sink. Place the foot, and this is going to work its way long. Step turned out with the right foot, sink. Step parallel with the left foot, push out of the feet, lengthen up through everything. All the weight is on the left foot, and then you're going to push down into the right foot. You see what happened to the hands? We had them up to the ceiling, and now we have them down to the floor. And that's going to be able to change the hip again and come through. Yeah. Okay, so we had palms went up. We created this circle here. So we have this whole powerhouse within the shoulder. We mimicked it down within the hip at the same time. So as we were leaning, I wasn't arching over. I was actually bending with my leg. This went up. I went down there. So that little action creates a circuit here and a circuit here. So we had all of that, and then the sink. There comes our hands. The palm went down to the floor, and then there's a spiral. Now the palms are on the floor. That's one way for the hip. And then you just have this beautiful little, soft little rotation that happens in there. Okay, All right, so let's take that again. Let's go from the palms up and sink. So you're going to take your tailbone back towards the back wall. You're going to walk through the feet, pushing up, step, flat foot, push out. Sinking back. So your palms are down and flat, then they rotate around, sink. So now the palms are up. Walk through that. Step parallel, up, over the top, and then let that go to sink down, and then spiral, and then sink. Yeah. Okay, so now that we've done a lot of that, what I talked about for part 1 of low cup is you're working on the tendon and the muscle relationship, your emotions and function of the body. That's what you're working with. So now we've been working and moving for a while. This is a good time to go to foundations. So if I take this one where my hands are at a 90-degree angle, weight is down into bubbling springs of my foot, and now focus on that lower back, letting it go. Let the hands turn. All right. This is where you start to change the function of tendon and muscle. You're calm, you've opened things up, you're deep breathing, fluids are flowing in the body, and now the body says, okay, if you want me to make a change, I feel safe, so I can do that. And as you turn your hands here, that's sending information down your spine, information down that lower leg, and of course within the arms, because that's what we're moving. Okay, if you just let that come down, you can probably feel everything really flowing. So now what we want to do is right from the shoulder, but don't grip in the hip. Let it relax so that as you turn in your shoulder, if you relax, you may notice the change that can happen in your hip, just as you move from one to the other. Now, people will say to me, I don't feel anything. I can tell you, I didn't feel all these things either. It's been years of exploration and practice that has allowed me to figure out what do I feel. That wasn't talked about in our classes originally. But now I really notice how connected everything is. So you could probably even see my body moving. It typically wouldn't do this, but because I've linked up how we're opening the pelvis today, it definitely wants to have some fluid movement in it. All right, so it's a relax and there's a change. So as I go to turn my palms back, I can feel my hamstrings and my glutes decide to work, my quads release. And then when I turn the palms to come around, there's like a sink down into the position. So this ends up opening up, this ends up coming back. Now I don't want you to do that, I just want you to see that's what's happening. So you're really just turning your hands, and if you're relaxed inside, your body will be making micro movements. Okay, so we've got that one. So let's go here. And this one, down into your feet, relax your hip, and just let everything float. And again, this is about tendon changing. You have to be calm. Let go of your emotions, let go of the stress, let go of the thoughts of the day. Give yourself space to just be. So, of course, that would be without me doing all the talking. But when you do your own Tai Chi practice, where you're not learning Tai Chi, you're practicing Tai Chi, that's when you can get to that calm space, because you can just move your hands like this. Okay, Now, some people have a challenge of palm out, palm in at the same time. This can be awkward for them. If that's you, then just take your time with the movement to see if you can focus on one part. So maybe it's the palm goes out, maybe it's the palm coming in, but just one part. And just keep focusing on that aspect. If it is a challenge, we found a pattern. Awesome. What we want to do is make that pattern smooth, easy flowing. Nice. Okay, let's add one more foundation. We already did spine turn. So we're going to take the hands from the back. We're going to scoop. This is beautiful for changing the lower back. Comes up, palm turns, palms go out with the elbows down, out towards the corner, turn and sink. And then this is going to scoop and come back in. So we've got palm out, expand, sink, comes back in. Out, expand, sink. All right, this is beautiful. Helps with circulation, so gives the heart a rest and helps with the lungs. As you expand and contract the tissue, you are changing anything that might be frozen or tight. So the diaphragm can drop to allow the breath to go in. This is wonderful for coughs. Anybody with lung challenges, anybody with heart, very gentle. And maybe you have a sore arm or you can't lift your shoulder. It can be very small. It can be like this. That's still going to give you the action you're looking for. So just take it where it's comfortable. All right. So we have lots of things coming up as we get closer to Christmas. That is a time where stress does increase. If you can try to find joy in all that you're doing and try to let go of outcome, things don't quite go as you'd like, or maybe you're not going to be able to visit everybody as you'd like. We do have the internet, we do have Zoom, we do have FaceTime, we have all these wonderful ways of connecting with people. It'll be different, but you can still connect. So take advantage of that so that it's not a stressor on your body, that it's not the same, it's not normal, it's not what I usually do. Let go of all of that because we don't have that. But what you want to do is make sure that as you are thinking about the activities in your life and in your family, that you make the celebrations the best that they can be so that your body is stressed. And so if you're not stressed, then the immune system has a chance to function and keep you balanced and well. So that's really important. So take the time to let go of, I used to do it this way, we've always done it this way, I don't have and I can't have. Let it go of all of that because that's stress, and come back to what do we have? How can we make it happen, and how can it be different and maybe exciting? Maybe you're going to do something a little different. So for my family, we will be gathering and we will be having a virtual dinner where we do make the recipes and have all of the cooking done in our respective homes. And then we all come online to eat together. And we do it with the china and the cutlery and the, the silverware, whatever, bringing out the fancy pieces that we would normally do. So take advantage and do that for yourself. Don't try to measure it with what it was last year or what it's always been. It's just not going to be that. But remember, you want to be gentle to yourself. You want to be able to celebrate and to be able to let go of the stress that can come with this time of year and with any restrictions that you might be facing. Sorry, I think I have a little hair there. As you do that, you think about how you're boosting your immune system. That's what you're doing. You're making a choice. You're taking care of yourself. You're taking care of your self-care, and you're being responsible for who you are and how well you can be. So I invite you, use what you learned today. Think about your lower back. Think about those micro movements. Take advantage. Do your daily practice. Make sure it's every day, because you need to be moving. You need to be making sure all the systems can function well. That's your job. All right, have a wonderful week, and I will look forward to seeing you next time. Take care.